The thing that scares me about Pixel is that Google has spent so much time starting projects, canceling projects, starting projects, canceling projects. I mean, we can name so many of them: Area 128, Stadia, Hangouts, Google Plus, all kinds of stuff. So Google doesn't always have the best pulse on what its, fans are looking for. Ever since the Pixel 6, they've had a much stronger grasp on what people expect, what they're looking for, and what the industry would be demanding. Hello everybody, and welcome to another official video. I know I've been kind of doing some other stuff on the side. I want to do more than tech because I really like tech, but I like other stuff too. But this is a tech video. The Pixel 8 just leaked, and we have the first render that we've ever seen, and it's amazing. And it's exactly what I was hoping to see. Google, since the Pixel 6, has a whole lot better grasp on what its audience is looking for, what the industry is looking for, what people want in a phone. They're not just doing iteratives like they kind of were at the beginning, Pixel 1, 2, 3, and 4, and doing the cool Soli stuff, but like no one was asking for that. You know what I mean? It's cool, but no one was asking for it. With the 6, they completely redeveloped, gave us a bigger battery, gave us a better tensor processor, self-made, all that stuff. 7 just doubled down on that, gave us a better camera, gave us better megapixels, gave us better video, better cooling, all that stuff. 10 out of 10. Now, what I was hoping for with the 8, I figured either they struck gold twice, and the third one's is not gonna be so good, or they have a plan. And I'm pretty sure it's the second one, because as you can see, the first Pixel 8 leaks are here. This is from 9 to 5 Google, written by Ben Schoon. So first off, this actually looks a lot like the original Pixel. If you look at the corners, if you look at the roundedness, if you look at the aluminum, it looks very similar. I really like that they're keeping the design language kind of a little retro if you're like super deep in this niche. But let's talk about what actually this article is about. Google Pixel 8 Pro adds a mysterious new sensor, hoping for that 200 megapixels and possibly pro mode. We'll talk about that in a second. And flat displays in first leaked renders. Now, I don't like curved displays as well. I've always liked flatter displays. The Pixel 7 Pro is really good at not being super curved like those Samsung ones that were made popular for years and years. But I do like flatter screens, and this is what I was hoping for. I was really hoping that we were going to get a flat display. Imagine this size phone with a flat display. It'd be perfect. So the Pixel 8, this is the 8 Pro. They're no longer doing the two camera openings. It looks like it's one. I was actually curious how they're going to change the look for the newer phone, what direction they were going to go with. I'm really glad they're keeping the camera bar. I'm happy about all of that. But I really like this display so far. It's flatter. It's a little bit simpler. It feels sleeker. I know people are going to cry and whine about this tiny little bezel. It is what it is. I don't care. So it says, for one, the phone appears to have finally ditched its curved display, at least mostly. The display lacks the signature curve we've seen on Google's past 2 Pro releases, and there's certainly some room for slight curves along the edge. So it's probably not going to be, straight cut off. It's probably going to be kind of tapered, but that's better than being curved. I've never had any issues with like ghost touching or anything like that, so that's all fine. I don't have any complaints about the curved screen. I just really like flat screens. See, look how polished this is. This looks so good. This almost has an iPhone 10 kind of look, except for the notch on the top. It kind of reminds me of that. I do like that they're keeping the buttons closer to the center too. Sony does them way too far down in like the exact center, and then you got to like reach down, and it's awkward to actually reach the buttons. But I like this placement. I like the camera setup, hoping that this looks like the wide angle in the middle. I mean, this is just a render, so who knows how accurate this is, but I'm really hoping for that 200 megapixel camera from Samsung. They usually kind of play off of each other to come to this. And that leads me to what I really want to see in the Pixel 8. This is my comprehensive list of the things that I want to see in a Google Pixel 8 phone. Number 1 from my list has been a flat screen. I promise that's not just because that's what this article is, but I was hoping it wouldn't have been on the top of my list because it's not super important, but it's nice. More of a cosmetic thing, but I would have put flat screen on there. So cool, we're in a good direction. 200 megapixel camera or something higher than what we currently have, binned down to 12. I don't want the 12 megapixel anymore. I'm taking professional pictures on this. Half the time they're better than the ones I get out of my actual Sony camera, and I want the megapixels to be able to match that, the resolution, so I can, you know, blow it up, or I can, you know, I took this picture and I made it into like a canvas. I want to do that kind of stuff. But it's more difficult when A, the resolution's small, but B, think about maybe what like Magic Eraser edits, or what like when you're editing colors and stuff like that. It's going to look better on a higher resolution too, because it doesn't have to compress it so much. So everything gets better at that time. So let's go for a larger megapixel camera. I don't care at all about 8K shooting. Let us shoot 4K in 60 frames per second. I would love to see that. And then 4K 60 frames per second with voice enhancement. I really like that feature. I use it all the time. It's better than half the mics I own, at least for carrying around, you know, on the go. So number one, I'd love to see better resolution on the camera. Number two, I would love to see a pro camera mode. I know people have been asking for this for years. I never really cared about it, even though I do consider myself a professional in working with a camera. I've taken classes at Liberty for it. I was going to graduate with cinematic arts. I love it. I enjoy working with cameras and being on camera. But I have owned Samsung phones in the past. Again, I've never been a Samsung guy, so maybe that's part of this. But I have never once used the Pro mode. Never. It's too complicated. There's too many options. I think the UI is just cluttered, and I don't know what to do with it. It's just, and it usually, no matter how hard I try, I'm going to get a worse picture than the AI working on the phone anyway, so it's not worth it. I would like to see more pro options. Maybe not a full out camera mode, but if I have 200 megapixels to work with and 4K with different frame rates and audio options and stuff like that, we're getting there in the phone now. If you plug in like an external microphone, even if it's like one of those little Razer microphones, like for a desktop, but you just want better, you know, narrating audio, even with adapters and stuff, it always recognizes it. So it's awesome that it uses peripherals as microphones. That's really cool. Not every phone does that. So what I'd like to see is an expanded pro options, as far as, you know, being able to upscale, downscale, choosing frame rates, choosing color options maybe. So I'd really like to see that as a pro camera mode. Number three, I would like to see HDMI out. So for example, this camera that I'm shooting on right now is a Sony ZV-E10. Sony is the worst at naming things, but this camera has a USB-C out option. So I'm actually not using a cam link for this. I'm not using anything to record through OBS. I'm using just a USB-C cord. You have to turn it on. It's called USB streaming mode, so it doesn't come on automatically. That's really annoying. But I mean, it's one button press. It could be worse. What I really want is for Pixel to have USB-C HDMI out, so I can use it as like a webcam if I'm gonna stream remotely, or if I want to do like a Meet or a Zoom call from my computer, I can plug it in and use it as a camera, stuff like that. That would be really cool. Computers and phones both, like I said, recognize microphones already. They recognize other peripherals, so it would be really cool to use the camera on the phone as one of those peripherals. And honestly, I mean, that's all I've got for right now. I don't have a huge extensive list of what I want to see in the Pixel 8 Pro. But the last thing I'll talk about is I would love to see them shift around the models a little bit. I would love to have, you know, the Pixel 8 Pro and the 8 be the same model essentially, but just with different screen sizes. And then the A series maybe is the one for everyone. People aren't usually going into a store and being like, I'm gonna buy the budget level. Like they're gonna look for the main headliner, the iPhone 14, the S23, whatever it is, and that would be the Pixel 7. But as someone who works in this industry, I can say I have sold I can count on one hand the amount of actual Pixel 7s I've sold over 6 months since it being released. Usually people go for the 7 Pro because they're close enough in price that the promos on them give out also the 7 Pro for free. So why would you not get the Pro? On top of that, AT&T specifically has had the 7 on a $10 a month deal, which is really good. You know, that matches the iPhone 14 and the S21 FE deal. So, you know, everyone can get one, but usually people are like, well, why wouldn't I just, you know, trade in my phone and get the S20 or the Pixel 7 Pro for like $4 a month or whatever it ends up being? Or if I'm really strapped for cash, why wouldn't I go for the 6.8? That's $2 a month. So almost no one chooses the 7 actually. So I think it would actually be smart for Google to move the 7 to have the same camera as the 7 Pro, and just have a different screen size. And then the A series is the one that's the entry level, the budget level, that kind of thing. So let me know what you think. Let me know if there's anything that I may have missed or anything that you would like to see on the Pixel 8. I will link the 9 to 5 Google link in the description, because there's other stuff that they talk about, like a possibility of a LiDAR sensor and stuff. I haven't quite gone through the whole thing yet. I'm actually headed out the door and wanted to shoot this like as I was leaving. So go ahead and go through that, read everything. Let me know what you think. And thank you guys for watching. And here's to early Pixel 8 leaks coming soon.